Hey Depression Army, I'm really excited about today's video because I get to talk about something different than depression but still related. So, I'm gonna talk about mania today, and you can probably tell because that's what I'll name this video. But anyway, so I think it's something that a lot of people talking about mental health don't talk about. So I think it's a good thing to talk about, and also it's been something I was trying to think of what to talk about. I was like, well, what have I been going through lately? And it would be mania. So, I think that the first misconception about mania is that the only people who get it are people who have bipolar disorder. And for those of you who don't know, bipolar disorder used to be called manic depressive disorder because you get fits of mania and fits of depression. However, that isn't true. Lots of other people get mania. It's something that I didn't realize until recently. Even if, like, I don't have or I haven't been diagnosed. Let me start there, because I don't know, could be bipolar, but I don't think so at this point. I've already been diagnosed with depression, and I have never been diagnosed with bipolar, so I don't have bipolar disorder, but I do get manic. And a lot of people I know with depression also get manic. And so what happens is that when you have a depressive episode, this isn't always what happens. Sometimes if you have a depressive episode, you can have manic episode afterwards. Sorry. Or vice versa. You can have a manic episode and then have depression afterwards. Those things kind of go together. And it just in bipolar disorder, it's more extreme. It's just these up and downs. And so lately, so usually what will happen is I'll have a depressive episode, usually if it's a really bad one, and then, like, let's say I go to bed, I have a depressive episode, go to bed, I'll wake up the next morning, I'll be manic. And so mania, or, being manic is kind of hard to, so I want to talk about how that feels like. So, let's see. I also have ADHD, so the best way, and since I have, since it's now adult ADHD, it's more of the ADD and less of the H. And I mean, sometimes I still get hyperactive, but lately I've known it's mania, because what it is it's uncharacteristically high mood. So, like, just like this feeling of inexplicable happiness. I get really giggly. I get really laughy and giggly, and I laugh at everything, and I tend to get a little bit, so it's not all good. Like, it's nice and happy, and it's a nice welcome contrast to depression, but at the same time, sometimes I get really annoying, and then sometimes I feel like I can't control myself, and that's kind of scary. Again, not as scary as depression, but it's still, part of mental health. And and I'm trying to remember back to my abnormal psych class, but if I remember this correctly, it happens when, like, if you have a depressive episode and your brain, like, so this is like what the chemicals in your brain, like, from a, like, what's the word, like a neurology perspective. So you have a depressive episode, right? Your brain, it doesn't have enough dopamine or serotonin or what have you, and then it's like, okay, we need more of that, so it just starts dumping it in, and then it just keeps dumping it, and it doesn't realize when it's reached the threshold, and then it's like, uh-oh, we dumped too much, so then you're really happy and really manic. So that's what happens. And now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I might have bipolar, because I've been really manic lately, and I don't normally get randomly manic. I usually only get manic after depression. But anyway, let's not talk about that. I'm not diagnosing myself. Anyway, also, I always thought, never mind, this is another thing, but it can also be manic depressive disorder can be incorrectly diagnosed as ADHD, but I definitely have ADHD, so anyway, whatever, diagnoses don't matter that much, but I think it is important. It's more important to recognize depression. Maybe not more important, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's easier. No, that's not true either. Okay, back up. Nothing I say is true. I think it's important to recognize mania as well as depression. There we go. That's me. That's my I think statement. So I think that it's important to recognize mania as well. And it's something that no one ever talks about. And it can also be destructive. So I think it's important to know. But also, it's been kind of fun the last few days. I had a really fun weekend. And, you know, what was funny was, like, so I'm 21 now, and I've recently, like, I'll have a drink every now and then. And I'll have, like, one sip of, like, this weekend I had, like, one sip of a drink. And then everyone's like, whoa, you're acting real crazy. Like, you can't be drunk. You had, like, one sip. I'm like, I'm not drunk. I'm manic. And, you know, or I won't drink anything at all. And it sometimes, so I thought it was interesting that sometimes if you're, like, someone who gets really happy when you drink alcohol, I know some people don't get that way, but that's how I get. But, it can mimic that. Sorry, I'm fixing my shoe. Mania can mimic that, like, the effects of having a lot of alcohol. So there you go. There's my little bit on mania. It's really interesting to me. If you want to know more about mania, don't ask me. Look it up, because I'm just a lovely undergrad student. So yeah, look it up. But it's interesting. If you have mania or if you've ever experienced mania, I'd really like to hear about it. Put it on in the comments below. Check out our website. Check out all of our other social medias. A lot of cool stuff happening around Depression Army. Make sure you check out all of that. All right. Bye. See you next week.